The Xiaomi SU7 is a really nice car, and as I said in a recent video, I think it was the last video or the one before that, Xiaomi make really well made electronics, and I mean some of the best in terms of stuff that you can buy, in terms of the design and the schematics, and keeping things cool as well when they're hardworking and when they're under load. For example, their little kick scooters and bikes and things like that. Really well made. Hence why I'm a big fan. I really like longevity in anything I buy and things that are well made. And I've taken loads of Xiaomi things apart just to analyze them, literally just to analyze them. Or if I'm fixing something like one of my old, a couple of years ago I had a Xiaomi vacuum cleaner. I replaced the battery and I took it apart just to have a look at it, just to clean all the filters and all the insides. Super well made stuff. So the car itself, the Xiaomi SU7, and the electronics, I don't have a concern about that. But the brakes are the first topic of today's discussion, because there's a huge amount of tripe online about this. People just talking and ranting about it, especially the mainstream media, because it makes a brilliant headline. There are videos of the Xiaomi SU7 going on track days and basically burning through the brake pads, and then suddenly the car loses brakes and then hits a tyre wall. In a nutshell, when you take a car such as a Porsche to track days, you will typically get 3 or 4 track days of driving out of the brake pads if you drive hard. And a track day is usually just a couple of hours, an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe, of actual on time going around the track. So basically 7 or 8 hours use on a track and they're gone. And it turns out that's pretty much what Xiaomi were doing. They were turning up at 6, 7 in the morning, being there all day, completely smashing out their brake pads, completely burning them out. It's just a dumb thing to do. That's the nux of what's going on here. So the Xiaomi, like many sports cars, has brake pads that aren't as thick as a regular daily driver vehicle. So if you look at a Porsche 911 GT3 RS or a Subaru Impreza, for example, typically the brake pads are literally half the thickness of a Holden or a Honda Jazz or a Toyota Yaris, literally like millimeters thick. They wear faster and there's a lot less of it, but you stop better. So that's the payoff, the trade-off. And they feel a lot less spongy. I think that would be the other thing as well, that you get a better brake feel, a more precise, simply because there's less material to be squashed on there. Hence why when Xiaomi have hired some goons to hang around a track all day, they're parking them up in walls once or twice. No other reason at all. It's not that the brakes were inadequate or anything like that. I've also changed my brake pads since I was a kid on every car I've ever owned, literally every car. And on one occasion I didn't seat the brake pad properly, I think it was, if I remember right. And it was a brand new brake disc, brand new brake pad, which I did replace after this incident. And it basically was stuck a little bit in the on position. I just didn't seat it correctly, and basically it just meant that it was stuck on a little bit, and I couldn't really tell it was on because the car had a reasonable amount of power, and I literally drove down the street for 2 minutes, maybe 3 at the very most, and I could smell quite a bit of burning. So I pulled over and checked outside, and I noticed that the wheel was hot. And what happened, I went home and noticed that basically when I took apart the brake disc and the brake pads, not the disc, I didn't take apart the brake disc, but I took it apart and I could see that literally half the brake pad had worn away in just a handful of minutes. So brake pads don't last long when you use them hard, that is for sure. Especially, you'll know this if you ride push bikes and things like that. So I burned through a similar amount of material on that day to what the SU7 has available from brand new, and I did it in 6 minutes. So I drove a total of about 2 kilometers, I think. 2 kilometers, so 1 kilometer there, 1 kilometer back, gone, done. And that was quite a small car, really. So the brakes in this SU7, they're totally fine, and they have a big job to do. They're big discs, big pads. It is also a 2.5-ton car, so obviously that's something to consider. So I hope I've wrapped that up. That's not a problem. The other thing to address is that the boss of Xiaomi was caught saying the numbers 150,000 and 200,000 kilometer limit in a conversation talking about a car, and someone assumed he was talking about the car's lifespan for some reason, or there was just some crappy reporting. And this got reported widely, basically saying that the SU7 doesn't have a cap on its kilometers. So he basically confirmed after the fact he wasn't saying it can only do 200,000 kilometers or 150,000 for whatever reason. Obviously, I think there was it the Fisker Ocean or another car. I think Marquez Brownlee recently talked about it, and on the screen it says you've got something like 1,000 launches, and every time you do one, it goes. And it's like 900 and 800. Of course, when you think about that in practical terms, they could have done that, but just not shown you. You wouldn't have known, and you'd probably never get to that 1,000 launches. Who's done 1,000 launches in a car? That's crazy. It just doesn't feel very nice, does it? Having an actual limitation like that on the car. So I think I've covered things up, the strange things that are going on in the news, which is all I wanted to do with this video. Just a nice brief quick video to clear that up. For those of you that are new to the channel as well, I'm Ben Alexander and I make EV news videos every day. And if you thought this video was a little bit interesting, you'll probably like some of my other videos. So please feel free to subscribe. It's free, or just like it as well. That's also free. Any comments? Just if you want to say something, add it in the comments below. And thank you for watching.